Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar video. In this video, I'm going to be opening up the Avatar The Last Airbender Water Tribe Loot Crate. Now, a lot of stuff has happened with this, I suppose, since it was first announced. Now, it was announced, I think, December 2021, and it shipped December 2022, which was basically 6 months after it was originally meant to. I think it was meant to ship in June originally, then it was delayed to August, and then it got delayed into December, of course. So, pretty bad. I don't think it's the worst delays that Loot Crate have had, but it does seem like quite a bunch of other stuff has happened sort of in the background. So, the main thing to say here is just that I think that like Loot Crate don't seem to be the most reliable company. Like I've said in other videos when I've mentioned them, I've got all the stuff that I've ever ordered from them. This is probably the longest delay I've ever had on something, and it probably would make me not order potentially the next Avatar box. But it does seem like what was originally planned as being a series of 4 boxes has now turned into just this one box, and that's it. At least I saw someone in the comments of one of my previous videos mention that they reached out to Loot Crate asking about future boxes, and apparently they are saying the others are cancelled. I don't know exactly what that situation is, but it seems to line up with what's going on right now. Usually these crates are only sort of like up for sale, basically up until they ship. But this Water Tribe one is actually still available to get on the website. So I guess that potentially means it is just like in stock now if you are interested in getting this, but obviously with a somewhat heavy warning of there's a lot of horror stories about dealing with Loot Crate, but it does look like they do potentially actually have this one ready to go right now. But it doesn't look like we're getting other ones, at least right now. I can't really say why exactly the reason that is. I'm guessing it's just the usual kind of like financial problems that company seems to have, where like they barely get in enough money to sort of secure the items for each crate, and then they have to kind of keep putting pre-orders up for other crates to get people interested, and you know, it doesn't seem like it's a particularly great business model at this point. But it's here, and let's get into it. So you can sort of see standard kind of new style kind of art for like Aang with the kind of navy kind of background. We have here Water Tribe Speciality Crate. It has 2022 Viacom International logo on it. So, you know, the stuff here is meant to be official, and we'll discuss it as we sort of go through it here. So let's open this up. So you can sort of see straight away what we have in here. That's the packaging. Now, I think initially they did have some sort of a fancy Water Tribe specific box as an image for this. I sort of get why they have switched to just a sort of standard box with the sticker on it. I think that's relatively okay. Sure, it means the box isn't super collectible, but you know, that's never the main event ultimately. So let's get into talking about what we have here. So one of the things I was most interested in was the pin. So this is the Water Tribe kind of symbol pin. And the reason I was so interested in this is because I feel a lot of companies who do this almost try to do it like too fancy, and they have like lots of shiny bits and stuff like that. And when I think just that in Water Tribe colors, the main kind of water symbol, is just super, super nice. I like that it's the circular symbol, but then it's in a square. And obviously this is where it's maybe a little bit frustrating that they don't seem to be doing the other boxes, because this would have been a set of 4 that would have been really nice to get. Because yeah, like I think I have another example of it. Like this isn't in the box, but like I got a set of pins there. That's probably like the best of the other ones that I've seen. But you can see there's a little bit of the kind of edge being kind of shiny coming out of it. So you know, it would have been nice to get the full set of this. You know, maybe keep an eye out if some other company gets it, because again, like this is where it's weird. Like these items apparently are like Loot Crate exclusives, which we'll get into. So it's a little bit kind of unusual there. It does have the usual kind of pin thing on the back, and you can see it says Loot Anime there. So that's a different crate than they usually have, but I guess they're just including Avatar as sort of part of that. Next up we have this, which is the cactus juice water bottle. So I guess we'll just quickly open this up, see what this looks like. Does it say anywhere on this? Original Loot Crate item. Yeah, it's got Loot Crate on the bottom. So you wonder, like, you know, such a company with like a pretty bad reputation. I guess people know that Loot Crate is the main kind of loot box company thing, but you know, there's that. So there is the bottle itself. The markings, it's kind of hard to see, even on camera. I think the fact that you can sort of see through it, and like the plastic is sort of like transparent blue, and then it's just a slightly different blue for the image. So it's sort of hard to see the actual kind of symbol on it. But you can see it is, oh, there you go. So in the light there, you can see it's chibi sake with cactus juice. And it says, it'll quench you. And you can see there's the little kind of wrist strap, I guess, there that goes through here. Anything fancy here? No, just a pretty standard lid. And does it say how many milliliters or anything like that this is? Let's see, what's this? Hand wash only, do not microwave, obviously. I don't know. Is that about like 500 mils, maybe a little bit less, like half a liter? That seems okay, and I guess like I'll use that if I need a water bottle. So that's just a nice kind of useful item to have. That's I think pretty well done. You get this is probably like, I felt like the weakest item, the Katara necklace, when it's like not really like it's a necklace. I guess it resembles it, but this probably would have been better if they tried to be just more screen accurate and make it accurate to the actual Katara betrothal necklace that she wears. That's like, you know, it was given to her by her mother. That's actually like Paku made for Kana, of course, like that. But, you know, it seems nice for what it is. Obviously not going to wear it, but, you know, that's that. Again, you know, when they call it the Katara necklace, I think you expect it to be a little bit more accurate. But again, Loot Crate original, apparently. Next up, we have the t-shirt. So I think in Loot Crates, you basically always get a t-shirt. So here is the Sokka t-shirt. So you can see here, it is Book 3 Sokka. So it's really cool there with most of his weapons. It doesn't have the sword, but the Water Tribe weapons for a Water Tribe crate, I guess. Got the sort of symbol in the background. And I like it. I like that it's Book 3 Sokka. And it's a pretty nice t-shirt. Like, I like the color. And yeah, it doesn't have like giant like Avatar The Last Airbender logos all over it as well, which is kind of nice. So that's good. And yeah, they gave me the right size as well. So they got that right. Next, we have the Tui and La socks. So let's I'll just quickly, like, I suppose, open these up just to get a better look at them here. So let me take the plastic out. So you can sort of see there. So yeah, Tui and La, Ocean and Moon Spirit, Viacom logo on the bottom. Seem like decent quality for socks. And yeah, they're pretty nice. Oh, also Water Tribe symbol there. That is on the top of the foot. So that's a nice little touch as well, to have that there. And yeah, so socks, another kind of somewhat useful item there, obviously. And then the last item, the sort of like main event here, is the Katara figural bust. That's an interesting. What a weird. I've never heard a figure referred to as figural, but I guess that is what it is ultimately. And again, this is probably the most like disappointing thing if they're not going to go ahead with the other crates, is because I guess we'll open this up and see what it's like. But apparently, like I think we know from when they initially announced this. This is meant to be part of a set of 4 figures that basically like link together. Their bases link together to form like a bit of a diorama. So we'll see if they've, you know, if it's exactly as, you know, pictured, or if they've maybe changed the base to be a little bit more like generic. We'll see if that's the case. Okay, so there's the packaging. So, yeah, it's just these two plastic parts we pull apart. And, oh, there is a bit of tape, actually. Okay. Open that up. And here is Katara. So you can see here, just based on the base, it's like a third of a ring, with the idea being that I believe it's the Zuko and the Toph also would have bases like this. So when you put them together, it forms like a circle. And then the space in the middle would be occupied by the Avatar state Aang, which would be a taller figure that you put basically in the middle of that circle. So it would make this kind of really cool kind of platform with a bunch of like these kind of figural kind of busts together, obviously. So that's kind of cool. So in terms of the quality, let me get a look at it here. Paint seems pretty nice. No obvious kind of like defects or anything like that on it. Obviously book 1 Katara, I prefer it to be book 3 Katara, but given that I suppose their plan was theoretically to do multiple crates, I get them starting with book 1. It's a nice book 1 Katara bust for sure. Even like you can sort of see with the face, it's probably one of the nicer faces we've seen on a figure of Katara there. Just the way the eyes are kind of nicely detailed, eyebrows are done nice. Because I suppose because it's a bust, if this was like a full figure, it'd actually be like quite tall too, like including her leg. So it means that the figure's quite big because it's only showing the upper part of her body. But you know, we've got sort of like a water whip effect here. That's kind of nice. And then the sort of splash as the thing that sort of is the base of the kind of bust. So, you know, some nice details here. The hair loopies are accurately done. Even you can see the sort of like detailing there on the hair, the little bits of blue. So they've picked out all the details quite nicely. The betrothal necklace has a hint of the symbol pattern. You probably can't see it too well there, but there's a hint of the sort of indentation there for the symbol pattern. It's just not kind of picked out with any sort of separate color or anything like that. But do you know what? It's actually quite nice, and it makes me kind of want to be like, you know, hey, I'll probably end up contacting Loot Crate about this just to see if they get back to me on this, because it's just like, hey, you know, this was clearly meant to be part of a set of them. It's apparently exclusive to you guys. Like, are the other figures going to be offered by you or anyone else? Because I think that's a question I actually would like to know. Because it seems just a bit weird to come on a base like this. I guess it doesn't look awful on its own, in that it is pretty stable just on its own. But, you know, it's there's a slight frustration there, of course. But I'm pretty pleased with this, ultimately. And it gives you a sense for, like, okay, like, it's not actually, all four of them together wouldn't actually be a huge sort of like area necessarily. Like it'd make for like a big figure, a big kind of statue, having all four figures together. But it doesn't seem like it would take up like a ton of space, because, you know, Katara isn't reaching too far out past this, and then I suppose the Aang would be more slightly taller. But yeah, there is the first, potentially last Avatar full-on Loot Crate. I'm pretty pleased with it, ultimately. You know, obviously you have to factor in the fact that getting it to Ireland, the shipping was more than it would be for someone just getting it in America. I had to pay a small amount of customs. Thankfully, when they were doing the customs document, put in a sort of like generic value for like every single item. So I think I only ended up having to pay like, I think €6 in customs, but it still meant that, you know, it was a somewhat pricey crate. And it's like, okay, what's the value compared to what I paid in terms of like pricing on like a figure like this, where like I don't think it's the most super high quality one, but I would say at the very least this is probably like a €20-25 figure. let's just say the sort of the equivalent in dollars, something like that. I think people would pay that. If you saw this in like a GameStop or something like that, a toy store, you saw this Katara figure, you'd pay something along the lines of, I think, 20, 25. Pins like this, the value goes up and down, but you know, it's not super sized or something like that, but like for like an exclusive, you could say like, okay, roughly somewhere in the region of 10, maybe slightly just under 10. So we're at like 35 or something like that. I don't know, the Avatar socks, these are kind of hard to price, I suppose. But again, I don't know, do you say like for one pair of socks, is it 10, just under 10, slightly above that? Given that they have like the designs on them and stuff like that. I'd say probably like in or around 10, so that brings us up to like 45. The t-shirt, of course, is obviously one of those things where like most places, like for like t-shirts like this with big graphics on them, it's like it's definitely in the region of like probably 15 or 20. So that does bring us up to like maybe 65 or something like that. And then we've got the what else do we got here? The water bottle and the necklace, I think, is everything else. And again, you have to assume that like it's not the fanciest water bottle. It doesn't seem like crazy amazing quality, but it works for what it is. Probably about 10, 12 maybe, and then probably something similar for this. So it probably works out where like the price that I actually ended up like paying with all the sort of extra shipping fees and stuff like that ends up working out relatively okay. Now, obviously, the idea of a loot crate is that what they would usually say is that you are getting like almost like double value compared to what you actually paid for, because it's this set group of items instead of buying them separately. So I'd say I'm like happy enough with what I got here. Obviously, would be happier if the shipping costs were a little lower, didn't have to pay customs and stuff like that. But I don't feel like I was ripped off by this. So there it is. Like I said, I almost hesitate to say that it does seem to still be available on the website. I don't really know what the situation is, but you assume that they obviously had a certain amount of all of these items made by whatever manufacturer they've worked with, and they still have some left. So it seems like you can get it, and they have it, it exists. But do you want to deal with Loot Crate is probably more of the situation here. Well, that's up to you. Do you like these items here enough that you really, really want to get this? Who knows? Because my understanding is that like some people will get these loot crates and sort of put the items up separately on eBay, so you will have a chance at maybe getting some of these. We'll see what happens. But that has been the video. In the comments, let me know your thoughts on the loot crate. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.